welcome to the Lioness Lair. It is your Queen of the Prowl here. It's Christmas Eve. Happy holidays to everyone. We've got Lady Lionor with us, who is traveling home from the game that she was at. So we're going to get to see her experiences. We're going to get and see what she has to say about watching this game live. Unfortunately, the Lions today looked like they ended up on Santa's naughty list, and all the Lions fans are getting cool for Christmas. But we'll go into it a little bit more. So, Lady Lionor, welcome. And how was the game for you?
It was awesome. Hey, Val. Hey, everyone. Merry Christmas. This was not the game I would have chosen to go to if I would have known how it was going to go. But I will say, I like being around a bunch of other Lions fans when we lose, because you got a bunch of people to commiserate with. And I was with two of the best Lions fans out there, Michael Huck and Kurt Steele, who are completely rational human beings. They are not going to jump on the fire Dan Campbell train because of one game. They're not going to go all SOL because of one bad game. I was with reasonable fans, and we had a really good time, except for the game, because the game was crap.
Yep, and Kurtz will be sharing his thoughts Monday when the guys recap the game then. So it'll be interesting to see what Kurt has to say about this game. I know I've seen a few pictures of him on social media, and it looked like you guys were having real fun out in that cold.
Hey, it wasn't even that bad. Like, honestly, I was sitting there wondering what all the fuss was about. I know after the game, a lot of people wanted to blame the cold for the way the Lions played, and they're from Detroit. I don't buy that at all. I do think that there was something going on with the field. I know leading up to this game, some of the Panthers shows I was listening to, they were talking about the field, and I didn't really know what they meant when they were making fun of their field. In Jared Goff's post-game presser, he said that even in the warm-up, the pregame warm-up, that field felt like concrete. So they have some crappy turf that, I don't know, maybe the cold made it really, really hard, because looking at our guys, as physical as we like to play, it looked like they were hesitant to tackle people. And I mean, I wonder if it was just painful and they were holding back a bit today.
Well, I don't know if Lions fans are going to buy the cold as an excuse when we're from Michigan, and we've played NFC North teams out in the freezing cold. There shouldn't have been much of that impact, but apparently, I don't know what happened with all of that today, because I don't think that should have been any excuse whatsoever. But I wasn't there. I know I got to see you guys all bundled up, and we were picking on you a little bit behind the scenes, going, they act like it's cold down there.
Hey, I'm from Florida. Living in Florida makes you soft. 28 degrees is pretty cold for me.
I know, we were going like, wait a minute. It doesn't look. It's like bright sunshiny looking out there, and we're in the middle of a blizzard, and y'all are bundled up in coats. It was hilarious, but
yeah, it could have been worse. It wasn't that bad.
So
let's talk about the good stuff in this game, because that's going to be a short list. Like, there's so much bad. Let's just kind of go over the things that went right today. So, Shane Zylstra. Who needs TJ Hawkinson? 3 tutties for Shane Zylstra. Good on him, man.
He got his hat trick today.
He did. Good for him. You know, then the receivers in general. I mean, Khalif had a catch for 50 yards. DJ Chark went over 100 yards. I think he only had 4 catches. Amon-Ra only needed 26 yards to hit 1,000 today. And I believe he went about 76. So congratulations to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He hit 1,000 yards this year in this game.
Yeah, actually, the stats that I have gotten for Amon St. Brown, he got his 90th catch of the season in this game, and then plus some. So and he's like only like the third NFL player in history to do it. So that was a good record-setting thing. Yeah, and Zylstra with his hat trick. Who thought it? Shark showed up today quite a bit. Raymond came up a little bit, in doing some things that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, Jack Fox was Jack Fox, and that's about the end of my good things for the day. So let's get negative, because that's all I got left is negativity.
Well, wait a minute. We got to say something today, because I'm going to say something with the defense, because Iffy showed up today, my boy. You all know I wear the Iffy pajamas, okay? And he actually played well. Now, a lot of Lions fans I've heard are attacking him that he played like shit. But compared to everybody else in that zone, he was the only one that seemed to have shown up, and he showed up a lot bigger because, look, if he had 7 tackles and 1 assist, where Kirby Joseph and Okuda only had 4 tackles and 2 assists.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I will give you, comparatively, he did well. The garbage did better than the hot garbage. Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know that he did himself any big favors today as far as winning himself a starting spot, but he was, there were no bright spots, so he was less dim than the rest of them, let's say. I'll give you that.
Yeah. But before we get into really tearing the crap out of the defense today, which just was like, oh my goodness. Let's see what some of our Prowl Nation family has to say about anything that was kind of good. Paul Jaros says it was just one of those Sundays. And it was said that the Panthers would do well with poor defensive teams. The cold had nothing to do with it. It didn't affect Goff. Well, I don't know. There's a question about Goff and those gloves. That's Zago, who is new. Sorry, I mispronounced it. I hope I said it right. Who's new to Prowl Nation? Welcome. Goff and the receivers are the only ones that showed up. Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get into this defense because wow, did this not go according to plan? Like we were thinking that this was going to be a game that the Lions were going to be able to just stomp the holy daylights out of the Panthers, and well, Lions decided to pull a national media shitstorm.
Yeah, I mean, and I think there are a whole lot of factors. We'll just it looked like week 5 Lions defense. Where the line is just, they're a little soft, they over pursue. The linebackers are never where they should be. They're missing tackles all over the place. The defensive backs are the blind ballerinas in the backfield. Nobody was where they should be. And it was all 3 levels. It's not like one level stepped up and it was on somebody else. No, it was across the board. Just a really, really poor performance. And that is unfortunate because the Panthers coming into this game, I think they won 4 of their last 6. And the games that they won, they had a really, really strong ground game. The 2 that they lost, they rushed for, like under 40 yards. I mean, it's pretty clear this Panthers team can win sometimes in dominant fashion when they can establish the run. Shutting down the run was key number 1 today. And, we got nothing. I mean,
Well, let's.
the worst part about it is when they know the Lions knew they were going to run. The audience knew they were going to run. The freaking television audience knew they were going to run. And everyone also knew there was not a damn thing the Lions were going to be able to do to stop it. Oh, it's just the worst feeling.
Well, let me give you some first half stats. These were the stats at the end of the first half of this game. The Panthers had 240 rushing yards compared to the Lions 21.
That 240 yards in the first half is the most by a team in over 20 years. Yep.
The passing yards, the Lions did have a little bit more. They had 132 passing yards to Carolina's 125. And there were 365 total yards for the Panthers to the 153 yards for the Lions. Yeah.
I mean, look.
And it only got worse in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, besides not being able to stop the run, we couldn't establish the run either. And that's going to make our entire offense fall apart because Goff is a play-action passer. Play-action isn't effective if you can't establish the run. I mean, just everything that, could have gone wrong today did. And the Panthers did everything right. Kudos to them. They played a hell of a game today. It actually felt like our game against the Jaguars, where we were like so dominant the whole time. And we did everything right in that game. And it just seemed like the Jags couldn't do anything. It felt like that exact same thing today in reverse.
Yeah. And it's just, like, why did you have to do this on Christmas Eve, of all things? This is what you're known for, is the run game. This is what you've been trying to develop, and you just laid an egg, Aaron Glenn. Just laid it. Just like you decided we were just going to take the day off when you're in a playoff run contention. What was that?
Yeah, and I don't think anyone can put a finger on exactly what it was. I do think there were just a whole lot of factors. It's possible Deshaun Elliott, he lines up in the box a lot. Him being out may have had a bigger impact than any of us thought going in. And then there was just the week itself. This whole week leading up to the game was a little out of structure for them. It was a day shorter, so everything was moved up by a day because it was a Saturday game. And then with the storm, they actually left a day earlier than they had planned. And then it's the day before Christmas. I don't know. And then there was the week of headlines. The national media was just all over the Lions all week, very high on them. We had the Pro Bowl picks that came out this week where Frank Ragnow made the Pro Bowl, and we had 9 alternates. You have to wonder if this very young, inexperienced Lions team bought into their own hype a little bit. Maybe they bought into their own press, and they just did not look prepared. It looked like they thought they were going to just sleepwalk through this game, and boy, did they get punched in the mouth.
One of the biggest problems that I noticed with the Lions defense was all of the missed tackles. They went back to almost square one with this shit. Like, they were getting, Akuda's getting burnt. Jerry Jacobs is getting burnt. Joseph's getting burnt. If he even got burnt a few times, I noticed. But it was just like, where are you guys? You were that slow that you can't easily, are you afraid to tackle them in the cold? Do you think your finger's going to break? Elsa's going to get you? I don't know.
Yeah, tackling was such an issue the first half of the season. It was something that really improved. Being a tough, physical team has really been the identity of this, well, both sides of the ball, really, but particularly on the defense. And yeah, like I said, it looks like week 7. Like they just sort of went back to where they were. All the progress they made just kind of disappeared this week.
Yeah, and then they decided to have some fun. I mean, the D line just melted in the wind, I guess, because the Panthers was blowing up the middle the entire time. Just like anytime they were running down the middle, it was just like, we're gone.
That's what was so awful about it, too. It's not like they were getting fancy. They were just punching it up the gut over and over again. And it would go for 30 yards, 40, 10, 15. Like, they were just getting these huge chunks right up the gut. And yeah, they couldn't stop it. They couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, even Paul Petros was saying the field at the start was like cement, according to God. But so what? You can't play on cement. Do you need soft cushion? You need soft cushion things for your feet.
He went so far as to say their field was not up to NFL standards. Like
no NFL field is. The Bears play on the shittiest field known to man. Stop whining. Seriously. You can't. I mean, the Bears field would make freaking the Panthers field. I looked at the Panthers field. Panthers field looked like a goddamn palace compared to Soldier Field.
Yeah.
I don't even care. That made no sense to me. Absolutely no sense to me. And then, Goff got screwed over a few times. Even though he got the roughing the passer, it was a roughing the passer call, but those were helmet-to-helmet hits.
Yeah, I can't comment on most of the penalties. It's the angle we're at. It's hard to see. I saw a couple that were very, very questionable. Like all the Lions fans were kind of looking around like, what? Would they call that on? Why was that on us? But honestly, since I wasn't taking notes, I don't even remember where they were in the game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and we'll get to some more on Goff too. But the run defense was absolutely atrocious. One of the interesting plays that happened today was Bugs deciding to create a free-for-all right on the field today.
Oh, when he slammed him down?
Mm-hmm.
I got it. Like, when I saw that play, and I was surprised the flag got thrown. Maybe it looked different on TV, but it just looked like a tackle. Like, we see tackles like that every week in the NFL. I just thought I don't know.
Yeah, well, the guy he was fighting against should have been called for a couple of penalties himself, and they threw it at Bugs instead. So Bugs was just standing up because that was some bullshit that they were pulling at the time, and Bugs was like, I'm not going to take your damn shit, and I'm going to fucking beat your ass. And which is a good thing. For me, I love it. I was so excited when I saw Bugs out there fucking throwing a fight. I was like, yeah, beat the ass, beat the ass, beat the ass.
Well, thank God someone was playing violent and hard. I mean, nobody else was on our side, so.
That's for sure. It was just, and then another stupid thing was Mike Ford with his illegal contact penalty. But other than that, it was just, they just didn't show up. They were just like, they were completely unprepared. It was just a freaking nightmare. Justin Jackson, it was, let's look at some of these guys in the defense to see if there's anything noteworthy. Nope, not a freaking thing. Jack Fox punted 4 times.
Nothing.
Jack Fox punted 4 times for 206 yards, right, y'all? I mean, that's just. And Michael Badgley had a field goal.
Woohoo! All right.
Justin Jackson had 5 kick returns for 140 yards. Yeah. Chris Board didn't show up. CJ Moore did not show up at all. Yeah. Justin Jackson and Jamison Williams did not show up. Yeah. It was just bleh. So let's go into this note. Let's go into this offense because there's some funny things. One of the things that the announcer said just cracked me the shit up because he went off and went and said he called Dan Campbell. He called Dan the Gamble Campbell.
Because he was going for it on 4th down?
Yep. I thought that was just hilarious. Yeah, not having Elliott hurt like shit with this defense, but the whole defense just fell in the toilet. They just did. It was the offense did no better.
A couple of those 4th down calls. So the first one, I think it was on the second drive, and they made it. They converted the 4th down, and then they drove all the way down, and that was the fumbled snap where we turned it over in the red zone. And while I know we converted the 4th down, I would have rather seen them take the points there. And the reason is because of like the flow of the game. We deferred. Carolina had the ball first. So when you're actually kind of looking at the back and forth here, Carolina got the ball, they scored. We got the ball, we scored. Then Carolina punted. And now that we have the ball, he went for it and got it and then ended up fumbling it. He couldn't have predicted that. But by taking the points, you're now one up on the natural flow of the game because you're going to get that ball coming out of the half. So I didn't, even though they got it, I didn't like the 4th down decision then. And then there was one later in the game where it was like 4th and 1 and he opted to punt. And I'm like, you're down by 3 scores. So I don't know. There were a few questionable coaching decisions. And, I'm going to go home and rewatch the game tomorrow. I'm sure I'll have different opinions then. Mm-hmm. But just what I saw, there were some things that I was proud on there.
Yeah, that's where the Dan the Campbell thing came with the 2-point attempt that failed with Justin Jackson. Yeah. So let's get into some of the offensive stats. Jared Goff today. Final numbers for him. He had 25 completions out of 42 attempts for 355 yards, 3 touchdowns, all were Zylstra. His rushing, he had 3 carries for 15 yards. DeAndre Swift had 4.
Was he the lead rusher? Was Goff the lead rusher today?
Yep. With DeAndre Swift, second at 4 and 12.
Oh, that's
Jamal Williams, 7 carries for 11 yards.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
you're breaking up there, Nico. You're breaking up there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the O-line today. Listen, Taylor Decker is good for like one complete crap the bed game a year. This was it. Taylor Decker whiffed on a number of plays. I mean, he was responsible for the sack. At least one of them, the one I saw. Frank Ragnow, whether it was his snapper or whether it was Goff who was under center and he pulled up too quickly, that fumble on the snap, Ragnow's at least partially responsible. I mean, this O-line is normally very good. And you know what? It's the NFL. Good players can have bad days, and they did. They just had a bad day in almost every phase of the game. It was a bad day.
I just want to say hi real quick to some of the newer people who have come visited us to Prowl Nation. So, good evening, Eric Wallace. Welcome. Thomas Goodrich. The uniforms looked good at least, he says. Well, at least they dressed up pretty for Christmas Eve. That's a good thing, I guess. And Troy Thibodeau, the run game had been dead for weeks for some reason. I don't think that they'd been dead for weeks, but they were today. And hey, Batman of the 313, too many passes for the Lions offense. They made us have to play catch up. Well, they needed that catch up from Luke G. So. Oh, Brian Stover, I am not sick of you old timers. I just want to give some of the newer people some credit. Yeah, I see y'all here. I see ya. I see ya. Know that I love you, even if I don't acknowledge you. I still love you. Okay, you'll be okay. But yeah, okay. So yeah, this is in the rushing, and this was fun. This is funny. Justin Jackson had 1 carry for -1 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with the comment about the past few weeks. We have struggled to establish the run, and every week we say one of the keys to the game is establishing the run, and then we don't really do it, and the passing game has been bailing us out. In the past 7 weeks, Goff and this passing offense is #1 in the league in EPA per dropback. Our passing game has been the most efficient passing game in the league, but we have struggled in the run, and that really came to a head today. It was threatening to collapse over the past few weeks, but barely staying solvent. And today it just completely crashed through the ice.
Well, before that, the past couple of weeks, the run game was going real strong, and then you decided to switch it up and see what you can do with it. So it ended up biting you in the ass today. That's all. Because it really should have, you were trying to have a passing game when it really should have been more of a run, but you still couldn't do anything with that. You couldn't do anything run or pass because the stats show that the running and the passing both sucked ass.
Well, no, I mean, they would have run the ball if they could have, but they couldn't get it going. They were behind. They didn't really have a choice.
Oh, look at that. Everybody's having a pity party. Yeah, Val, she's overlooking all of us. Make us feel very sad, left out. Oh, I'm going to put some coal in y'all's stockings. It's going to be all right. We love you. You know we love you. Okay. Yeah, this offense just the rushing. Okay. Now let's take a look at the receiver corps. Who do you think was the top receiver today?
Sharp.
Of course. He
had over 100 yards.
Yep, 108 is the final total on that for four receiving for 108. Amon St. Brown, 7 for 76. Khalif Raymond, 1 for 56. So those are the top 3.
Yeah, what did the tight ends do today? Because I know all 3 of them were active in the passing game, and then of course Zylstra had the 3 tutties. What did Mitchell and Brock Wright do, and how many yards did Zylstra end up with?
Let me look. I have no information on. Oh, Mitchell had 2 for 31 yards.
Okay.
And who else? Zylstra was 5 for 26 yards. Brock Wright 1 for 11.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, the pass game was still fine. He was still spreading the ball around. It just, it didn't lead to a lot of points. So.
Zylstra was the only one that was making any real effort there. And doing anything that actually mattered to any degree.
Yeah, I mean, he was only open because, other people were doing their job. But listen, it almost looks like we were just less prepared than they were, and they out-schemed us, because we kind of knew what they were going to do coming in. We knew how we had to stop them. We just flat out didn't do it. They knew what they had to do to stop us, and they executed. It just sort of, listen, I still think this is a good Lions team. I'm still happy with this team, with where it is. Good teams have bad days. It happens. Didn't the Texans win today? I'm pretty sure the Texans won today. Like, listen, it's the NFL. On paper, we are still less talented than almost every team we go up against. And at the first half of the season, we talked a lot about how this is a young team. They haven't really gelled. We need the whole to play greater than the sum of its parts, and they weren't. And then they started doing that. They were playing better as a unit than they really were as individuals. And everything came undone this game. It was just a bad game all around.
Yeah, I think it hurts a little bit more of a dagger simply on the fact that they are in the wild card hunt, and you can't be doing this kind of stuff at this point, at the wild card hunt. And because people want to see them get into the wild. And I know it may not be this year, and it might be fine at the end of the day that it's not this year, but it still really stings when you really are looking at a possibility of getting into the playoffs this year, and you shit the bed.
Yeah,
when it mattered.
The way this weekend went is very strange. Playoff-wise, we almost punted on the week because every domino fell in our favor. The Seahawks lost. The Giants lost. The Commies lost. So even though we lost 2, we're not actually any farther back than we were coming into the week. But that makes it all the more bitter because if we had won today, we would currently be sitting in the wild card spot. Our Christmas present would have been that wild card spot, at least for this week. And, we didn't do it. Now, if the Packers lose tomorrow to the Dolphins, we're all still sitting in the same spot. We can win the next 2 games and still have a pretty good shot at it. But,
And of course,
the last 3 games, you can't drop one. We did. So the odds go down.
And Lions fans did exactly what I thought they were going to do today. Because, I've always talked about the emotional roller coaster of the fandom. And all those diehard Lions fans who were all like, yeah, everything's beautiful when they're in, and quickly turned on Twitter today. Really violently. Boy, this was not a fun day. Say a brand new Lions or same old Lions? That argument burns now continually.
Yeah, no. 2 things can be true at once. We can still be a good team, and we can also have played badly today. Those 2 things can both be true. So, I did kind of assume, just because of the nature of fan bases, we were going to have a fired Dan Campbell, this is the same old Lions BS going. I figured people were going to be emotional and pissed off if we lost. But the truth is, this has been a successful season. Even if we lose out, this has still been a successful season. They have put themselves in a wonderful position to be contenders next year going into this offseason.
Yeah, there wasn't really much of an attack against Campbell with this one. There was only a couple people here and there that would say that. This was an Aaron Glenn situation. Can we fire Aubrey Pleasant twice? Kind of a situation.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn had a rough day. Maybe he schemed it up wrong. Maybe he didn't get his guys motivated. Maybe he just didn't get his guys in the right headspace. Maybe they just weren't ready. There's a whole bunch of things, and they all seem to go wrong today. But you can't discount all the strides this team has made in the last 7 weeks. That doesn't all go away because of one really ugly game.
Yeah, this one stung quite a bit, and the fans were quick to express their displeasure at how well
I
that the
disagree.
Lions showed up.
I don't know. I don't know why this one would sting that badly. At the beginning of the season, it was almost unanimous across the board. Lions, fans, content creators, analysts, 7 to 9 wins would be a successful season. We have hit the 7 wins. Anything above that is gravy. The fact that we are playing meaningful football in December, and guess what? Next week still matters. We will be playing meaningful football in January. Dude, that's all gravy, baby. I mean, the fact that we are where we are is amazing. It is all uphill from here, or downhill from here. And the fact that we had one ugly game does not change any of that. It doesn't change the trajectory of the team because we had one bad day.
It will be interesting to see how today's game affects the Lions next week when they face the Bears at home. And that's just going to be my first ever NFL game, y'all. And my late husband will be honored at that game with a memorial tribute on the big screen. You know, during the game, we've got, the kids will be there. Best friends of his will be there. And I will be there rolling up in there. I sent you the video. That was funny as hell. I thought that was perfectly me of rolling up into Ford Field on January 1st. So, yeah, this is I'm gonna be walking in there pulling some shit. So I'm gonna be on video. I bet you I'm on video. Somebody's gonna fight me in this game.
Oh no. I can see it.
I'm gonna make national TV, y'all. So if you are able to come to the game next week, I will be in section 138. You better come say hi. I'm going to require 2 things out of you. I need a hug and a selfie because we're going to have all these pictures, okay? I know Lady Lionor probably took pictures today, and I know Kurt still took a bunch of pictures, and we'll share them on our social media at Detroit Lions on the Prowl and on Facebook and whatever, and Twitter and everything. So, guys, make sure you can show up for there. This game today, there was a lot of just interesting things. So I want to see, the announcers kept going on and on and on today about the Novocaine play that Ben Johnson has called. Ben Johnson has called a certain play the Novocaine play because, like with Brock Wright and all of them, because it's called the Novocaine play because it takes time, but it always works. And I was like, well, it may have taken effect, but it made the Lions fans numb.
Right.
Yeah. And I have one more deep-seated question about this game. I have one more deep-seated, and I need answers. I need answers badly on this one. Why was the Panthers mascot in a bunny suit?
Oh my God, I have no freaking clue. But it was hilarious. It was the most disturbing thing every time it was out on the field. I have no idea.
It's Christmas. I would have expected, Santa Claus outfit or a reindeer or an elf. But you come out there as the Easter Bunny?
Yeah, I have
no idea. It was a pink bunny suit. A bright-ass neon freaking pink bunny suit. And it looked like a cat got stuffed in it.
Yep, no idea.
I want to know why. I asked on Twitter. I still have yet to an answer. I need to know why this Panthers freaking mascot was in a bunny suit. Brent DeWitt said bunny suit was something to do with a Christmas Story. I think that would make sense. Because the Christmas Story coming out, that they're doing a remake where he's older. So, and there was the bunny suit in the Christmas Story. I think that's it. That's it. Thank you, Brent. You are a God saver because that's it. I know that's it.
But why is it on an NFL field? I mean, I don't know.
Because it's
I guess I
Christmas.
still don't.
Because it's Christmas and the new Christmas story is coming out, and so with him older now, and so that was an iconic thing with the kid with the bunny suit. So yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, I got it. I think that's what it was. Let's see what. Yeah, section 138, row 9, y'all. So you better come say hi to me. Or you write it down. Write it in the notebook. Okay? Because I want to see you there. So Brent DeWitt also said, I hoped for 8 or 9 wins, still possible. Only the second year of a tear down rebuild. Relax, for getting better, except on defense.
Well, no, I totally agree with that comment. And listen, on defense, in the past 7 weeks, not including this game, we were 9th in defensive DVOA. We haven't been a great defense or good. We've been above average the past 7 weeks up until today. So I do think they've made progress. I think they're going to bounce back. I don't think we're going to see this same defense show up against the Bears.
I'm hoping so, because that'll be fun.
Well, the parallels are interesting because the Panthers just played the Steelers in a game they should have won, and the Steelers just out-physicaled them. And we came into this game, should have won, and they just out-physicaled us. I do think we will bounce back next week. And I'm
Who
sorry
did the Bears
you're
play
going to
today?
see your team get destroyed.
Who did the Bears play today? Shit.
Somebody good. The Bills?
Oh, the Bills. Yeah, you're right. I had it in my head and just completely lost it. Let's look at some stats there, just real quick, from the Bears-Bills game where that went horribly wrong, where the Bills just whooped the daylights.
Yeah, but they were hanging tough through the first half. It was a close game. I guess the Bills ran away with it in the second half, obviously.
Justin Fields had 15 completions out of 23 attempts for 119 yards. And apparently, and Nathan Peterman, who I guess that's a new guy, and 3 out of 5 for 25. I wonder if Justin Fields got hurt in this game again.
Oh, no. Or maybe could they have pulled him because they were so far down?
Probably.
Did he get hurt?
Okay. I don't think. Let me see if there's any breaking news on Justin Fields to see, because I know he had a shoulder injury that he was dealing with. So I don't know why they would have pulled him. It was interesting today to watch Akuda get pulled because he didn't show back up. I don't see anything I don't see anything about him injured. So, but yeah. Velvis Jones was a threat. I watched a few highlights in there. Velvis Jones, I always call him Velvet Jones. I can't help it, y'all. If you know the Eddie Murphy skit, I can't help it. Okay, go look it up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll love me for it. But Velvis Jones had 2 receiving yards for 50, or two receptions for 52 yards. And Brian Pringle had 2 receptions for 34 yards, and Cole Kmet had 5 receptions for 27 yards. So that's what they're looking for with the wide receivers with the Bears. The rushing was kind of like, except for David Montgomery, who had 16 carries for 62 yards.
Well, what did Fields rush for?
Fields rushed 7 carries for 11 yards.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Huh.
So that, and Santos had 2 field goals. So, this, I don't think the Bears have a chance against the Lions as much as I'd like them to, but I don't think that's going to happen next week. I'm dubbing this game.
If this Lions team shows up, have a chance, but again, I don't think this is the Lions team that's going to show up next week.
Yeah, especially being able to be in warmth. Apparently, the cold got to them and whatever. But if they
Yeah, it
use
was
that
not that
excuse,
cold. No, but they are back in the field that they are familiar with. I mean, they're back at home. We have played much better at home this season than on the road.
yeah, Paul says Fields got figured out today. No, I don't think so. It's not an issue with Fields about getting figured out. He has had he has a shoulder injury that he's got because he's gotten the crap beat out of him all this season. So if you guys next week can do a whole lot of quarterback rushing, you might be able to work it. I said it not to do it before. I'm saying to do it now. Because Fields is not 100%.
Yeah, I mean, when one guy is your whole offense, 18 weeks is a lot of football. I'm not surprised that he's beat up this point in the year. They need to back him off a little bit.
You'll have to watch the run game with Montgomery because that's a threat. But
okay, I know that our rush D was invisible today, but coming into this game, the past 3 weeks, we've only given up something like an average of 53.5 yards per game on the ground. Our rush D the past 3 weeks has been phenomenal. That's why today it feels fluky because they've actually been stepping up.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened for them to not show up today. But I do have to give I have to give props to Shark though, because this was hilarious. Shark, somebody was throwing the football to the referee and ended up missing entirely and smacked the crap out of Shark in the back of the head, and Shark didn't even flinch. I thought that was hilarious as hell. He didn't even move. It was just wham. I was like, okay, that was fun.
The only difference on the defense today was Deshaun Elliott not being there. And man, I just can't imagine that he is such an integral part of the defense.
I think that there was
that
more.
It falls apart without him.
Wasn't there? Because there were some key players that were out today too. But were they on the defense or were they on the offense? Let me look back on what the injury.
Kabinda was out. Coyote was out. They're both offense. I can't think of anyone else on the defense who was out.
I'm looking at it real quick because let's see. Well, come on. I love it. Deshaun Elliott was out. Ragnow was questionable, but he did play. Barnes was questionable, but he did play. Evan Brown was played. Decker blew it and blew his coverage and made Goff get sacked. Yeah, Michael Brockers is the only D-line on there.
He never plays. I mean, he's been a healthy scratch for weeks. So even if he's injured and out, it doesn't matter. He was never going to play anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was pretty much it.
Deshaun Elliott is the only piece that's different from the past few weeks.
And you wouldn't think one guy would make that much of a difference, for real. But apparently so.
You wouldn't think? Yeah, I mean, if the wheel rolls a certain way, you change a spoke, it's going to work differently. I don't know. I do think it has something to do with communication, too. Deshaun Elliott, I mean, he's actually one of the rare veterans. Him and Anzalone are about the only two veterans we have starting on defense. With Deshaun Elliott out, I wonder if there were communication issues with the defense.
I think there might have been. I don't know if we lost you, Lionor, but are you still there?
Oh, I just got you back. Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Miles Gibbs wants to know how many yards St. Brown had. Let me go. Amon St. Brown had 7 receptions for 76 yards.
Yeah. He needed 26 to hit 1,000, so he went 50 yards over 1,000 today. And I believe this is his first 1,000-yard season, is it not?
I believe so. Yep. So, yeah, that's that. Yeah. I'm just going to say I'm not a Will Harris fan. Well, Will Harris had one tackle and one assist today. So, yeah, that did not do well. I mean, but he wasn't the worst on the list. He wasn't the worst. He was not the worst. He was far from the worst on the list. He was far from the worst. Let me tell you the players today that were worse than Will Harris. That had worse stats. Chris Board, CJ Moore, Pascal, Josh Woods, Aquara, and Houston.
Yeah. Hey, I just got to Florida. Sorry, just past the state line. I'm very excited about that.
Excited about that. So we've got to get into before we get into what we want to think about next week. We got to get into our boss up and balled out players of the game. So give me a boss up. Give me a boss up. Do we have a boss up?
I mean, yeah, Zylstra. Zylstra had a good day.
Yep, that's the one I've got. He's the only one that did a damn thing.
I mean, the receiving core was fine, Goff was fine, but basically, yeah, as far as balled on, everybody else. How do you pick one person out of that disaster? It was all of them.
Yeah, I was going to say Aaron Glenn, but I kind of almost agree with your point. Like everybody but Zylstra and Badgley, because he did score a field goal.
Yeah.
So we'll excuse Badgley. He actually scored along with Zylstra. But other than that,
that's right. He scored points. If you scored points, you're good for this game.
Yep. Everyone else, LL is in the building. Hey, welcome, Merry Christmas to you. It's going to be fun to see what you guys have to say on Monday. That's just going to be hilarious. I'm sure Kurt is going to have a lot to say on that one. But, he usually always puts a positive spin on that one, so we'll see. And I think that Coach Mike Jones is wanting to do some draft picks. So, we're on to Chicago. Chicago's coming. The Bears are coming to Ford Field next week. What you thinking? Lady Lionor?
Man, it is so hard to stay really positive after a day like this. But yeah, I would be surprised if we had 2 weeks like this in a row. I think they'll bounce back. The Bears just don't have anything to play for right now. Their number one priority is don't let our quarterback die because we've determined he's the guy. We want to keep him around for a while. So that might mean he'll run less, which would be good for us because we can't stop mobile quarterbacks. I think it's got to be a bounce back game in front of a home crowd. Although I hope it's a good game for your sake.
Oh, it's going to be a good game no matter what. I do have to represent Jim. I will be in. I'm trying to figure it out still, y'all, because I'm trying to figure out how to mix and match Lions gear and Bears gear together because that is just 2 color schemes that don't want to go together. But I'll figure something out. I will be in my iffy jersey. I will be in my iffy jersey.
What? You're wearing an iffy jersey with Bears gear?
Yes, I am.
That's your outfit for the game? All right.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I will have some kind of Bears gear on me of some sort along with my iffy jersey. Oh, yes. I got to go in there and confuse the fuck out of people.
Yeah, pictures or it didn't happen. I want to see pictures.
I might come in there with this big giant blanket, Bears blanket, and wear it as a cape or some shit. Who knows? I got to mess with people. I'm going to have to find a way to mess with people. So, what do you think might be the score? Guys, if you want to share this, what you guys think? What do you guys think? What is the score prediction for next week? Put it in the chat, y'all.
I think we are still going to have trouble establishing the run, but we should be able to put up plenty of passing points at home. So we got to get into at least the mid-high 20s. And I'm hoping the Bears don't break into 20 points. So I'm going to go 27-19 Lions.
27-19 Lions. What do I want to say? What is my gut telling me? My gut is telling me that it's going to be 21 Lions versus 17 Bears.
All right.
Let's see. Brian Stover says 31-10 Lions. No, we cannot have this. We cannot.
It's gonna be awfully funny when he's right.
Yeah, screenshots didn't happen, right? I should say screenshot to see who gets closest. Maybe I'll have a contest. Whoever gets closest to the score wins something. I don't know. But yeah, I am so looking forward to it. This is my very, very first NFL game. If y'all don't know the story, some of you who are new, my husband passed away last year. He's the one that created this channel. We were supposed to go to our first ever, rivalry game together, and he died that day last year. It was the day after Thanksgiving game. So we never got to have that chance, and I will be bringing him with me to the game with my memorial necklace with his ashes in them. So he will be with me in this game together. We will be at this game together. So, yep, 138. Y'all come say hi to me. If you've liked the kids' content, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I know it's Christmas, and we would have loved to have a win. We would have loved to have been eating them cookies instead of sucking on this coal, but it is what it is. And hopefully I was Freudian slipping over there. The Lions will have a better week next week. Even though I'm a Bears fan, I'm rooting for both, man. It won't hurt me. It won't hurt my feelings if the Bears lose. It really won't. But I'm going to be confusing the hell out of y'all cheering for both sides. So this will be fun. So make sure you guys have a Merry Christmas. I hope you get everything that you want. And I am so blessed that all of you have been rocking with us all year, and we're looking forward to making 2023 even better. So make sure you check out the guys this week on Monday when they share their thoughts, and then come back on Sunday night to watch game day reaction. I'm going to be at the games and traveling home, so depending on the weather, we might start an hour later at about 9 o'clock. What do you think, Lady Lionor? That might give me enough time to get home.
Yeah, that works for me. Whenever.
Okay,
yeah,
so
whenever you get home, we'll do it.
Yeah, so whenever I get home, we'll hit that start button. So make sure you guys watch out for us. I'm gonna try.
Turn notifications on.
Turn your notifications on. Make sure if you've already hit the notification bell, please click on it again and double check that all is selected, because YouTube's algorithm has changed things to automatically save it as personalized, and personalized doesn't mean that everything that we do shows up for you. So make sure you hit the all, and that you won't miss a thing. Okay, so you guys have a Merry Christmas. Come back and celebrate with us, next week, 8 or 9 o'clock. Just be prepared at 8. and we'll go from there whenever this happens. Okay, it's just going to be depending on when I get home. So until then, you guys stay warm in this cold, and we love you, Jim. See you guys next week.
One pride and Merry Christmas, y'all.